When people complain about snipers in Battlefield, I don't think they're talking about the same kind of player. Battlefield doesn't have a single sniper identity, but several, and whether sniping feels good or miserable usually depends on which type is showing up the most. So as we go through these, feel free to let me know down in the comments below which one fits you best, or which one you hate playing against the most. Starting off with the aggressive sniper. This is the player who stays closer to the action, rotates often, and uses the sniper rifle like a precision tool instead of a camping weapon. This role tends to be a high risk, high reward kind of situation, where the pros obviously are keeping pressure on the enemy team, and it also feels more skillful and interactive overall. The downside here is that it's much harder to do consistently. You're taking more risk, therefore it's easier to be punished in the long run, and if you're forcing shots too much, you can become ineffective quickly. Next up is the passive long-range sniper. This is the one that people often talk about when they're complaining about snipers, as these are the ones that are sitting far back, holding safe sight lines, and more focused on comfort and survival than staying involved in the flow of the match. This is a more low-risk, low-reward kind of playstyle, while the upsides are that you can still punish exposed movement and lock down obvious lanes. The downside here is that you can easily become dead weight. If you're too disconnected from the objective, you may get a few kills, but you're not really helping the team when it matters most. Then we have the stealth sniper. This player is built around concealment, off angles, patience, and staying hidden as long as possible. The pros here is that good positioning and timing can make this style very effective. A stealth sniper can control space and disrupt movement without constantly giving away their presence. The downside here is that this game has strong sniper glint, so the whole style becomes much more difficult to pull off in the long run, and if the player values safety a little too much, then stealth can turn into passivity. I would say this style of play is a medium risk while a low to medium reward kind of play style, as a lot of this comes down to the aggressiveness of the player themselves, but with constant movement comes less potential for kills overall. Next up is the objective denier. This is the sniper who isn't necessarily pushing super hard, but is focusing on denying lanes, punishing crossings, and making it more difficult for enemies to move through key areas. Their focus here is going to be around objectives and trying to deny the enemy good or easy access to an objective. The upside with this playstyle is that it can be very useful to the team. Even if they're not standing on the objective, they can still shape how the enemy moves as a result. The downside here is that a lot of players think they're doing this when they're really not. That's the big difference between controlling space and just sitting far away, convincing ourselves that we're helping. Depending on how far away we are from the objective, I would consider this oftentimes a low to medium risk, while a medium to potentially high reward, as if we can utilize lanes and lock down locations, then it leads to more potential kills, but also more potential success for the team. Next up is the utility recon. This is the player who may use a sniper, but brings real value through spotting, intel, spawn beacons in previous games, but drones and just helping the team with information. The pro here is obvious. This is one of the healthiest recon styles in Battlefield because it's a lot of points, real easy, and it can be more consistent. If we're not fragging out, we're still contributing. The cons here is that it's less flashy overall and probably less rewarding for players who can get more kills. Although the biggest downside here is that no matter how many people we spot, we're still highly dependent on the team being able to follow through on that information. I would consider this an extremely low risk and potentially medium to high reward, but if too many recon players are utilizing this playstyle on a single team, then it becomes a detriment to the outcome of the match. And finally is the hybrid marksman. This is the middle ground, not fully aggressive and not fully passive either, just a more flexible recon player taking medium range fights and moving with the team. The upside here is adaptability. This style usually fits Battlefield well because it's active without being reckless. The downsides here are that sometimes it feels less distinct and is highly reliant on good positioning, good understanding of maps and flow, sometimes being aim dependent, kind of like the aggressive playstyle, and many times it's team dependent as well. I would consider this playstyle medium to high risk depending on the situation of map, while being medium to high reward. Utilizing cover and understanding of maps to control map flow and open up lanes and opportunities for the team can potentially make this the most useful playstyle for sniping. So to me, the real conversation is not whether snipers are good or bad, but which sniper types actually help the match and which ones slowly drain it. And to be clear, I was specifically focused on types of sniping here, not really talking about the broader recon playstyles where people run things like carbines or assault rifles. That kind of thing is really its own separate conversation because the recon as a class is bigger than just people using sniper rifles. But when it comes to specifically sniping, Battlefield doesn't have just a one sniper identity fits all, it has several, and whether sniping feels good or miserable usually comes down to which type is showing up the most. So be sure to let me know what you think down in the comments below. I'll catch you on the next one. RAMTEID out.